Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. J'espère que vous avez eu suffisamment de temps pour...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think that you have adequate time to send out your email so that we are going to start our 8th session. 2.5 billion of internet users against 1 billion in developed countries. So this is the observation made by the International Union of Communication and published in 2016. Moreover, according to the same report, the penetration level is 80% in developed countries, 40% in developing countries, and 15% in LDCs, that is least advanced countries. And despite also the quality of TIC product, and those in they have seen the measure of the various use of ICT and internet in a highly cross-connected world. So to make of ITC, let's say, social development and tool, this is the will of all the ITC users in Africa. Indeed, many initiatives towards the strengthening of community efforts for the development of the internet and ICT and have been initiated since over the past 2 years. So, for instance, an Africa Peering and Interconnection Forum positioned itself as a major annual event in the continent and for all African stakeholders regarding the development of opportunity of interconnectivity and traffic exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, for this official formal ceremony, I would like to introduce the representative of the telecommunication regulator Côte d'Ivoire, as is the custom in African society. So the welcome address will be delivered by Mr. Claude Calixte, who is a member of the board of the ARTCI, which is communication and telecommunication Ivorian regulator. Please welcome him. Thank you. Honorable representative of the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy and the Post, Mr. MIEZAN-EZO Yves, Mr. Representative of Internet Society Regional Office for Africa, Honorable Representative of the Managing Director of ARTCI, Honorable Managing Director of MTN Côte d'Ivoire, our local sponsor for this event, Honorable Managing Directors and representatives of the partners, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, representative of business. On behalf of the ARTCI, I would like to bid you an August invitee welcome to Côte d'Ivoire and welcome home Akwaba to Abidjan, as is the custom. Honorable Director of the Regional Office for Internet Society Africa, I would like to extend my warm thanks for having selected Côte d'Ivoire as the host country for the 8th edition of AFPIF Forum. I am highly delighted because the telecommunication regulator of Côte d'Ivoire has been selected as the local host and to chair this major regional meeting on the development of the internet across Africa and through internet exchange points. ARTCI, under the auspices of the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy and the Post Services, has resolutely committed toward the development of access points and the internet. Indeed, since 2013, the internet exchange point for Côte d'Ivoire, called CIVIX, is operational and is taking a great part in the development of the community through AFPIFs and similar initiatives. To date, with 8 actors connected to the exchange point, Côte d'Ivoire has facilities and skills that have proven true in the management of internet services and can legitimately open civics to regional blossoming. Ladies and gentlemen, it is imperative for the African continent to pay special attention to the development of internet exchange points in all individual nations. Moreover, we need to promote interconnection, sharing of contents in order to improve internet access, generate and let's say low-cost services by maintaining local connection and improve quality services. Come up with tangible proposals for the development of internet services and also stimulate the digital markets. Increase the use of internet and provide high quality services. These are the main goals for which we have been called to provide our input during this event. Indeed, this forum turns to be a platform of exchange and a strategic tool likely to promote exchange points and also contents and local internet services. Moreover, I would like to bear witness and testify to my gratefulness to the major internet professionals, of whom the valuable input will definitely help us to address all issues that will be discussed over the next 3 days. Ladies and gentlemen, and on behalf of all the staff of ARTCI and the board of directors, I would like to convey our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Bruno Namadekone, Minister of Communication, of Digital Economy and the Post Services, for his undivided and unfailing support to build a strong digital society and combine with socio-economic development. Finally, to all delegates, experts, and participants who travel all the way from the various continents, we would like to appreciate you for your very attendance at this meeting. Therefore, I would like to wish to you all a pleasant and a nice stay in Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nbaya Claude Calixte, who is the member of the ARTCI. The welcome address having been delivered. Now I would like to transition to the second speech. In Nairobi in 2010, Accra in 2011, Joburg in 2012, Casablanca in 2013, Dakar in 2014, Maputo in 2015, Dar es Salaam in 2016, and Abidjan in 2017. So over the past 8 years, this forum has been launched by that organization whose vision is to bring and provide internet to all through the development of the use of internet for all global populations. Now let's bid welcome for the second address Mr. Dawit Bekele, who is the director of the Africa Regional Office of the African Society. Okay, thank you. Dear Mr. Yves MIEZAN, representing the Minister of Communication, of Digital Economy and Post Services of Côte d'Ivoire, Mr. Imbaya Claude, representing the President of ARTCI, Mr. Yedaly, head of the Division of Information Society of the AU Commission, dear participants to the forum. Now I'm going to switch into English, so please take your headsets for the French translation.
To have you all at the 8th edition of the AFPIF. This is the first time, this is the third time that AFPIF has come to West Africa, and the first time to Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. We are honored and happy for the hospitality we received from the government and people of Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you very much. AFPIF was started, as it has been said earlier, by the Internet Society in 2010, out of the realization that too much African internet traffic is going out of Africa to come back to Africa. This not only adds unnecessary cost that increases the price of internet access to Africans, but also impedes on the quality and reliability of internet access. It is also a security problem, since it has implications on security and including national security, since traffic goes unnecessarily out of Africa. For the last decade, interconnection was the biggest focus of our activities of Internet Society in Africa. Since we launched the first AFPIF 8 years ago, we not only organized 8 events on a yearly basis, but we had a high number of capacity building activities to increase local and regional interconnection. In particular, we partnered with the African Union to implement the first phase of the AXIS project, which helped build the technical and organizational capacity for the development of internet exchange points in around 30 countries around Africa. It was a great honor for the Internet Society to work with our continental organization, the African Union, in this highly impactful project. And we are very glad to have the steering committee of AXIS meeting here in Abidjan alongside of AFPIF in order to create further synergy between AXIS and AFPIF. I would encourage you to use this opportunity to meet with Mr. Moctar Yedaly, as well as the other steering committee members present here, and discuss how we can build on the achievements of AFPIF and AXIS to reach our vision of having 80% local traffic in Africa by 2020. 2017 is an important year for the Internet Society because we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. In 1992, 25 years ago, a small group of internet pioneers, including Vincent and Bob Kahn, established the Internet Society with a vision to bring the internet to everyone. That goal might not be reached yet, but I am sure that you agree with me that we have gone a long way towards that goal. 25 years ago, there was no African country that had internet access. Today, all African countries have internet access. Internet penetration is about 28%, which is less than the 40% around the world, but Africa is one of the continents that has the highest internet growth. Thus, I am confident that we'll reach the rest of the world very soon. This happened thanks to the contribution of many organizations, including the Internet Society. We are particularly proud of our capacity building work that the Internet Society, as well as our contribution, we are particularly proud of our capacity building works, as well as our contribution in developing peering in Africa. 2017 is also an important year for the African Bureau of the Internet Society, since we have decided to hand over AFPIF to the African IXP community. The Internet Society created in 2010 AFPIF, which has become, over the years, a very sustainable event in terms of participation and even funding. We believe that it is time that it is run by the Association of African IXPs, AFIX, that is the natural home of this event. We have been discussing with AFIX about the transition, and I am glad to say that AFIX has accepted to take over the responsibility to lead AFPIF in the future. For us, this is a great achievement. Of course, the transition will be done carefully so that it does not affect the continuity and the quality of AFPIF. This is just the beginning. ISOC will continue to support AFIX in the organization of the event up until it is ready to take over full responsibility. And I would like to use this opportunity to ask all members of the community, sponsors, governments, and other stakeholders of AFPIF to continue support AFPIF and AFIX in this transition. This does not mean that ISOC is disengaging from AFPIF completely or Africa. On the contrary, Africa has been and continues to be one of the most important regions for the Internet Society. We will continue to use our human, financial, and other resources in order to help Africa have a better internet. As the internet becomes increasingly important in the economic and professional and social lives of Africans, there are increasing problems that are becoming important for the internet. For example, cybersecurity is becoming a major challenge for the world in general and for Africa in particular. Personal data protection is no more an issue that Africans can ignore. Increasing number of countries are experiencing internet shutdowns, which has become a major hurdle for the development of internet on the continent. As internet penetration increases and the number of online services increase, remote areas are getting increasingly affected and marginalized from the digital society. And last but not least, Africans are not using the full potential of the increase of access. And we would like to make sure that Africans benefit from the internet. We'd like to contribute to dealing with this and other emerging issues that are critical to make sure that Africa benefits fully from the increasing internet access and new divides are not created between and within countries. I would like to finish my speech by thanking all of those who have made AFPIF a great event that all of you want to come to year after year. We are grateful by the hospitality and great support of this year's local hosts, le ministère de la Communication, de l'économie numérique et de la Poste de la Côte d'Ivoire, and ARTCI. We are also thankful for the great work of the members of the program committee, represented here by the co-chairs, Michal and Kyle. I hope Kyle is here as well. Who have already taken over the development of the program of AFPIF. So the transition has started a few years back. Thanks to the Fellowship Selection Committee and APIA for their membership submission system, or for their submission system. Thank you also for all the sponsors and each presenter of this conference. And of course, thank you to the ISOC team that worked relentlessly for months to make sure that we have a great event every year. Finally, I would like to thank again AFIX, the Association of African IXPs, for accepting to take over the organization of AFPIF from ISOC. I wish you all the best, and we promise to make the transition as smooth as possible. I wish us all a great meeting. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. David Bekele for his statement. We bear in mind that ISOC has resolutely committed to support AFIX, which is the African AFIX, and to work hand in hand and carry on with the efforts made since 2010, so that by 2020 we may reach 80% of access, internet access for local populations. From the 31st of January to the 2nd day of February, in Addis Ababa, head of states and of government have decided to also strengthen their cooperation work. And during the 14 sessions of the African AU Commission, indeed, the development and issues associated with exchange points are at the heart of the efforts made by the action. So let's welcome at the platform, and with a round of applause, Mr. Moctar Yedaly, who is the head of division for, let's say, energy at the AU Commission. Please welcome him at the rostrum.
Merci beaucoup. Mr. Yves, ISO, MIEZAN, cher ami, représentant le gouvernement.
Dear friends, representing the government of Côte d'Ivoire, Mr. Dawit Bekele of ISO, Mr. Claude, member of the board of ARTCI, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, because we need to stick to protocol etiquette. If I knew that there would be interpretation, I would have prepared my speech in French, but then I came up with an English speech, so I'm going to switch to Shakespeare instead of Molière.
It's a relaxed community, very competent community, hard-working community, and specifically those guys who are building internet for us. But it's always good to be in Côte d'Ivoire, specifically in Abidjan, one of the loveliest cities of Africa. It's a city of fashion, city of food, city of music, city of art and culture. the city of stylishly Afrikaans way to speak French. I love it. It is a city where people like life, the good life. They know how to laugh and how to make you laugh. We say Abidjan, c'est la capitale du rire. This is Abidjan. Welcome to my city, because it is my city. When we learned that the meeting would take place here in Abidjan, we decided to move our 11th steering committee meeting of ARTCI. And if you don't know what is ARTCI, I'm sorry for you. Here, and as usual, it started with a phone call between David and myself. And as usual, we fix it. It's always like that. And this is why I like to work with him. Thank you, Dawit. And my advance congratulations for the 25th anniversary. I hope I will be there. Ladies and gentlemen, the African Union Commission, which I represent honorably here, is convinced by the vital role of ICT for our nations to transform themselves. The advances of technology and internet facilitate access to new services by our population, even in the most remote areas. Those services include those of health, education, farming, banking, government services, etc. The internet is now everywhere in every socio-economic development sector. It's now become such a force to reckon with, which is responsible for billions of dollars in direct and indirect revenue annually in the world. Only last year, 64% of in-store sales, or sales to the tune of $2.2 trillion, were influenced by internet. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in the era of digital networked economies, to which we Africans need to adapt urgently. Internet represents today for us the unique opportunity to catch up with the developed world. Is now a matter of vital strategy. One of the governance and foundation of internet, on the governance and foundation of internet, we are very conscious that internet governance should exemplify and uphold the basis of an open, neutral, resilient, interoperable internet. We don't want great walls around internet. We want an open internet. And we should also make sure that the foundation for any future engagement of all stakeholders at the national, regional, and international levels are taking in consideration the fact that internet is not for dominance, internet is not for digital colonization, internet is for socio-economic development, for peace and security. We strongly support that the same right that people have offline must also be protected online. 10 years ago, to connect to internet, Africans mainly used satellites. Today, there is over 16 submarine cables connecting Africa to America, Europe, and Asia. International connectivity decreases the cost of internet. However, we still lack our intraterrestrial infrastructure, and specifically connectivity in our remote and rural areas, which represent 70% of our population. We need to do something about it. We in the African Union Commission have set up a 360-degree vision aiming at fixing all matters related to internet access, content development, DNS development, and so on. We have supported 33 African countries to set up their internet exchange point systems, saving more than $65 million a year used by Africans 5 years ago to communicate among them through third parties. We have prepared the Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection. We are soon starting a program on internet governance for all our member states, and we will continue to work again. And to mention just a few of our partners, Internet Society, we worked on access together, as David have mentioned. We drafted the guidelines on internet infrastructure securities, and we are currently preparing guidelines on privacy and data protection, and soon we'll be preparing sessions on internet shutdowns. Thank you, David, for being all the time there. Ladies and gentlemen, African sisters and brothers, the future is changing our lives. It is highly likely that our lifestyle will be changed by technology. Everyone in the planet will be networked. Homes, cars, business, and even our bodies will be instrumented and monitored. Some speculate that we will be emailing tangible objects, not to ship them. We'll be meet people using holograms. Some sort of separate computer will allow us to search the website inside our brains. This is just there. It is here. It's not just evenly distributed. It is happening faster. One shall, however, remember that technology is the great leveler, the great unifier, the great creator of new, and the destroyer of the old. The great shifts since the dawn of humankind. Technology is taking over every part of our lives, every part of our society, every mind, waking moment of our everyday. Increasingly persuasive, data networks and connected devices are causing rapid information flow from the source to the masses and down to the economic ladders, from the development society to the poorest. From biology to energy, to media to politics, to food to transportation, we are witnessing unprecedented shifts that are defining our future. Internet of Things will change everything. Internet of everything will change all things. The internet market now is growing fast. We need to do something about it. We African, we need to be ready. We, the development nations, need to make sure that we will not miss the turn of the digital revolution unless we wanted to end up in the situation where, in a similar situation in the 19th century, where we missed the industrial revolution. In French, you say, à bon entendeur, salut. Thank you for the kind attention.
Mesdames et messieurs.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will be very fond of this beautiful capital city, just like Mr. Moctar Yedaly, who is the division manager of the department in charge of infrastructure and energy and the African Union Commission. Internet is not it's used to recolonize, but it's something that's used to develop Africa. And this edition is hosted by Cote d'Ivoire with the highest authorities of Cote d'Ivoire, who deploy all the effort to facilitate the organization of this forum in Cote d'Ivoire. Ladies and gentlemen, the development ICTs and use of internet is central to the development strategy of the country in the with a view to developing the country towards emergence. And it is spearheaded by the President of the Republic, Ouattara, and the government of Cote d'Ivoire in general, and the ministry in charge of ICTs in particular participated in the development of internet at regional level, and it's materialized by the hosting of the 8th edition of FPIF. So I would like to invite to the pulpit Mr. Yves, advisor to the Minister in charge of Digital Development and Post. And he's coming to deliver at this very event.
Bonjour à tous.
Good morning. Our MC made things easier because, in fact, he gave my speech, so I'll try to be brief as I possibly can. We'll try to share a number of items with you, starting by the traditional greetings to Mr. Baya, representing the the officer in charge of telecommunication and the representative of African Union, director of the Regional Bureau of Internet Society. Dear brothers, dear friends, before I start, I would like to say that these people are deans that I've been working with for years and who, to some extent, guided me all the way through. I would like to publicly express my gratitude to them. Ladies and gentlemen, there's generals, technical advisors, the delegates, the experts representing the private sector and civil society, the ladies and gentlemen from the press, dear participant, on behalf of Mr. Pino Nabanye-Kone, Minister of Communication, Digital Economy and Post, who I represent here, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for this initiative of the Internet Society and thank you for selecting Cote d'Ivoire to organize the 8th edition of the African Peer Ring and Interconnection Forum. And in doing so, you testify of the effort that we've been deploying across the continent for the development of Internet. I would like to assure you that Cote d'Ivoire, headed by His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, is honored to host the Africa Forum on Peering and Interconnection, and the joy that we have as I display this speech. Ladies and gentlemen, the creation of value and innovation and sharing that you are organizing is something that we hail to many extent, and this approach targets the improvement of the digital development and international cooperation, show that it is something new but emerging and ever-changing, and this Africa that is winning and also shows our values and vision, which should display, you boldly displays the standard, is of great importance. In Cote d'Ivoire, we consider ICT as very important, and we also very eager to develop a secured ecosystem, which is digital, that give more confidence to actors and investors, and in general speaking, all the users at large. We are working to implement bandwidth large coverage with optical fibers, and we also work towards improving technology and access to internet by the population at large. It is an ambition, vision for the country which requires national expertise and international expertise, and we intend to introduce from the primary school media and internet related studies. And we have 5 internet providers. We have 29 million subscribers to mobile connection and 200,000 direct employment and 29 billion turnover that gives the landscape of our national digital business. And the economic and social development of our country is enormous, and we need to deploy more effort to use extraordinary resources which are available. It is undeniable that the increase of the capacities and the development of bandwidth coverage will be necessary for the development of Africa as a region and Africa as a continent. And the initiative is excellent, as is coming in line with national aspirations, providing internet accessible to everybody at an affordable cost, and also a significant lowering of the prices. We discussed it earlier on, contributing to the emergence and development of new activities that are generating employment, jobs, and generating incomes, fostering an increased adoption of local content by our centers. And so in 2011, a legal framework was put in place, like the development of the 7,000 kilometer of optical fiber and the One Citizen, One Computer and Internet Connection project, the electronic governance and many other projects, the action point at national level. I can assure you that Côte d'Ivoire intend to continue the development of its action point in terms of operational capacity, with the ambition to make this country a regional hub. Ladies and gentlemen, if the development of economic digital development is known on the continent, we have to agree that access to internet, cost and interconnection still remain challenges that we need to face together. APIV is a platform for appropriate exchange and sharing of experience through digital economics expert, and we think that the debate will lead to good conclusions. So to close, and on behalf of the Minister, I wish successful and fruitful proceedings. I declare, if I have the authorization, the opening of the forum. Thank you very much.
Merci à Monsieur Yves MIEZAN-EZO.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yves. The forum being officially opened after the address by Mr. Yves, representing the Minister of, to ask, with the permission, that as we do in our African societies, we try to give some present to awardees, and the trophy will be given to Mr. Dawit Bekele, to the Ivorian host. With your permission, I will ask Mr. Yves MIEZAN-EZO to come to receive this present.
Merci, chers invités.
Honorable guests, thank you very much. We shall now continue with our agenda that will include sessions that will be moderated. And the next one will be moderated by Mrs. Nina Nakwena. Under your applaud, we would like to now give time to our officials to leave the hall. Thank you.
No. Before you leave the meeting room, I would like to ask you to. No. Before you leave the meeting room, I would like to ask you to ask